And today, the budget travel truly begins. I am going up to the world's weirdest border crossing. So to get there, I have to get a bus now up to the capital of Cyprus, Nicosia. I'm on the bus now. It cost me about €5. We're leaving in about 5 minutes. I walked to the back and I saw all this leg room here. I got so excited. But it's just a wheelchair user one. There's a wheelchair space at the back of the bus. That's crazy. And we're off. Next stop, Nicosia. We are in Nicosia. So before I get anywhere, just while I'm trying to find somewhere, I will go through the history a little bit of why this is and how this is the last divided capital in the world. So up until 1960, Cyprus itself was under the British rule. It was part of the British Empire, and then we gave it back, and in 1963, yes, 3 years later, there was civil unrest which led to civil war. So if you ask me, it's 1 point to the British Empire. Now, why did all of this break out? So when Cyprus was given back, roughly 30 to 40% of the population were Cypriot Turks and the rest were Cypriot Greeks. In 1963, the Greek government, along with the Cypriot Greeks, had a plan to overthrow the government. Now, I believe the government at the time were Cypriot Turks. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that one. Now, essentially the Cypriot Turks found out Turkish weren't happy, so that's where all the fighting came from. And in 1963, the Cypriot Turks fled to the north of the country and the Cypriot Greeks fled to the south. Now, what makes Nicosia the world's last divided capital is that the border they drew in between the Republic of Cyprus and Northern Cyprus goes through Nicosia. So half of Nicosia is Turkish Cypriots and half is Greek Cypriots. And even to this day, there are still arguments going on, because the only country in the world that recognises the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus as a country is, you guessed it, Turkey. Be interested to see if the prices change much, if the language changes much, all of this stuff. So, on today's agenda, I think the first thing is a coffee, but Maps is trying to take me to the border for a coffee, and I don't really see the need to go to the border for a coffee. So I'll find a coffee around here, there's plenty, and then we'll find a meal later, and we'll compare it later on. Yes, annoyingly I am back at the bus station I got off at. I've done a whole lap of the city centre and there was nothing there. There was one absolutely packed coffee shop, but I ain't sitting in a packed coffee shop. Apparently, the old walled city of Nicosia, which maps took me to the border, is actually the place to be. I think it's just taking me to the border because the border goes through it, which would be even cooler. Right, we are practically here. I think we're actually in the old city now. So, next stop, coffee. It was €3 to €3.50 in like a regular Larnaca coffee shop. €5 was the most I spent, and that was not very good coffee. And obviously we copped the latte. It was €3, pretty much the same as Larnaca, on the cheaper end of Larnaca though. Right, it looks good and proper, but what does it taste like? Tastes good actually. I reckon that's the #1 coffee I've had in Cyprus so far. 8 out of 10. I have literally just walked out of the old city. I'm hoping this isn't the road to the border because I want to get to the wall. but not the border, if that makes sense. Right, looks like this is the border. So we're turning around. I'm going to take a photo of a different side of the wall because there was soldiers over there. And I don't want to really be filming it. Apparently it's a really intimidating border. Now, obviously I won't be intimidated because I'm Dylzy. I'm probably the greatest YouTuber of all time, and by the time this video drops I'll probably have about 70 followers, so you know, they got to watch their step a little bit. However, it is very strict and they say no filming anywhere near the border, and I've got a lot of pride, but I'd rather not get shot in my face. So the old town, the old city, is known as the walled old city of Nicosia. The wall was to stop the Ottomans getting through. Now, surprise, surprise, a wall didn't stop one of the biggest empires of all time from breaking through. As you'd expect, the Ottomans broke through with ease. Well, I assume that's the official crossing. I assume the soldiers we've seen before were there to stop people illegally crossing, but that's the official crossing. So, plan of action is food and then cross. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. I am currently ravenous. I'm starving. I'm weak through fatigue and through hunger. Right, this place looks good. Let's try this. Yeah, this may have been the plan. This may have been a good little plan. 11 euros for all of this. So we have got chicken souvlaki. It looks a little bit kebabby. I don't know. This is value for money. I'm stuffed and I'm not even halfway through. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. Never leave meat on your plate. Well, never throw it away. That was the hardest I've ever tried to finish a meal. Tiny bit of salad, but it's mainly vapour. Oh, thank God. Oh, I could roll to the fucking border now. Hold up. Hold up. A whole meal and a water, and they bring me this. Right, let's get this over with. I was talking to a Cypriot couple the other day that live in Nicosia, this side of Nicosia, and they did say since Brexit, British people have had a lot of trouble getting across the border, and they might just flat out reject you. Let's hope I have no issues, because I am flying from this side of the country tomorrow, so I kind of need to get there, and I want to get there, to be fair. On top of everything I've already told you about this border, the only way to cross the border is on the street I'm on now, and you have to do it by foot. There is no cars, there is no trains, buses, nothing. You have to do it on foot. Right, this is it. This is the weirdest border crossing in the world. So I am in Nicosia, in Cyprus, in southern area of Cyprus. I'm using the euro. I'm currently in the EU, and I've got all of these European shops. It reminds me of a modern European old town. I have now walked 50 metres up the road, and now they use Turkish Lira. They speak Turkish, and I'm no longer in Europe. There was no photography or videoing allowed, but it wasn't as intimidating as I thought, and it was really easy. It was quick, but you can already tell the difference. To be fair, I've established a little bit that they use both Turkish Lira and Euros, prices on both. Whatever that building was pretty cool. I'm not too sure. I've seen a few fridge magnets with that on. Now, I was going to compare the cost of a meal and the cost of a coffee. However, I'm still fucking stuffed off that souvlaki or whatever it's called. I will try and find a coffee now though, to compare the price and the taste. Tell you what, if I walk out of here without a football top, then I've done a good fucking job, mate. so many about there are €10. And there were the concept ones, which I love. Every little retard, mate, has got an official football top for some club that's not their own. Concept is where it's at. The Versace Italy one. The bloody Christ the Redeemer. I don't want to get on it. Brazil one. Crazy. I've got a Bob Marley Ajax one. Sick. The Maradona Napoli one. Mate, if you don't know, get to know. That was a waste of money. I don't know why I bought it. She said Turkish coffee and I thought it sounded amazing, but I've had it before in Bosnia. It's not. It's basically an espresso. And they give you a little bit of tap water on the side. I currently face only one more problem. So the current time is 3:20. 3:26. Now my flight leaves at noon. Yes. 21 hours away. However, the dilemma in which I face is where do I stay tonight? I haven't got anything booked. My thinking is I stay at the airport because everything around the airport is actually miles away and very expensive. The next problem I have is I didn't realise how far away the airport was. So it is 23-kilometre walk, which would take 5 hours, which, to put to context, is how long the walk is from North Malta, right at the tip, to right at the south of Malta. Which is crazy. An airport taxi from here costs around £40. I am not willing to pay that. And the cheapest kind of Airbnb hotel room for tonight, which is still miles away from the airport, is 30 quid plus be another 30 quid tomorrow for a taxi. However, like I said, I have 21 hours, so I might as well walk. Right, well, it's the end of the video because that's going to be boring. It's Friday, 6 PM GMT. Bye.